Hey guys, welcome back to the Capital Mindset Show. So I have the headphones in. So when he arrives, as the title stated, there was by one of you set up this debate discussion or something. Do you want me? Do you want me to say who it was? You're in the comments section. Let me know if you want me to highlight your comment, and I'll show the world who set this up. But anyways. Yeah, as far as the title goes, we're just waiting right now. In the meantime, you guys can treat this like any other live. You guys can ask me whatever kind of questions. For this question, Dom G, I'm allowing the guest to decide anything that wants to be debated. And so far from the exchange, the individual wants to debate strongman personal finance. Strongman personal finance so far, but I'm letting the guest decide whatever as soon as the guest arrives. Okay. The agent of chaos himself. Yes. Okay. So this is the wonderful individual who set this up. Okay. So I'll make sure to add that to the list of questions. What investment strategy is for real? Okay. No worries. I'll make sure to ask that. Again, if you guys have any other questions on stuff until the guest arrives, just holler them in there. Otherwise, this will be like kind of like a regular old live. We shall see. Hope everyone's having a great day so far. Okay, that's a good question to ask. What do you do for a living? All right, well, until this person arrives, I guess we'll just talk about different things going on in the market, different little interesting new developments. Really, there's not much. There will be a video made more recently on macroeconomic stuff regarding the article made by Lawrence Summers. Lawrence Summers is an ex-Treasury official. So it was a pretty interesting read. There were some disagreements here and there, or some contentions, but then again, he is perhaps far more qualified than I am, given his background. So there's that. But it would be a very interesting interview. Eventually, when the channel gets really large, I would definitely love to have people like that on and just interview them, ask them tougher questions. As far as any additions to the portfolio, nothing's really been done much. I added a little bit more to Thor Industries, a little bit more to Netflix, classic, selling some of the same old. Again, there's, it's going to be pretty boring in that sense. Oh yeah, honest my bonest, or whatever the name is. Oh yeah, honest my bonest. There it is down big. Yes, Julius Caesar. Thank you for pointing it out. It's down quite a bit. I'm actually probably going to take a look at what the heck happened. I saw something to do with their growth is disappointing. So then, and management was making some excuses about some things. Hello, everyone. Hey, how you doing? I have cookies. How you doing, Torre? Again, if this turns out to be a dud as far as the debate / discussion goes, this can still be just a live, friendly discussion between us. But yes, we're waiting so far. Ask him if he can outperform VT. Incredible. Okay, so I'll ask him this as well. All right, sounds good. Well, that's kind of a interesting question, but I'll definitely ask it because why not? Okay. Well, I don't know if we will answer that kind of question because I would never make a guest, regardless of any background or anything like that, answer a question that could potentially be illegal or something like that. Um, okay. Hey, Fabio, if I were you, I would ask him to break a simple company down, like Apple. Ask him to explain to you the income statements. Well, the goal, I mean, I could. Again, I'm allowing the guests to decide because, to give them every chance possible to kind of, guide the conversation in whatever they feel comfortable with. And then we'll go from there. Okay. Hey, Cookie. So welcome. Good to know it's your first time. So again, welcome. Again, the rules of this chat are always going to be this. If you ask a question and I answer it, but I don't answer it to its fullest extent, you can re-ask the question and call me out for not answering it. Sometimes my mind can ramble. All right. So first time I am interacting in the chat. Do you have an opinion on when the Russian stocks that have been suspended at London are going to be unsuspended? Okay. So no, I don't have, it would just be entirely opinion because there's no way for anyone to know. I would say that we'd have to see some level of peace and then diplomacy return before any of that could ever occur. So first that, right? That's as far as I can say. If I told you a time period, I would literally be pulling out of my rear end. So okay, I can ask him that as well. Yeah, we're just waiting on to show up. It was scheduled for 8:30, so we're just waiting here. Um, how to make... But regardless, I hope everyone's day is doing good. Yes, I am. I am. No worries. That's the idea of this channel. And the dolphin noise that my wife says is the dolphin noise. All right. It would be sweet to turn a foe into a friend, a better their life, a bigger man, always help and improve his community. His brother, be the bigger man. Well, I'm not going to use ad hominem attacks if that's what your concern was. Um, well, we shall see. There was interesting stuff. There was some interesting back and forth before this was happening. I don't know. I wasn't getting heated, but I felt like there was heat coming in my direction. Off topic. What's the most controversial advertising strategy or just an advertisement you have seen that really propelled a company forward? Oh gosh. Propelled a company forward though. Um, hmm. I mean, there is the theory that no publicity is bad publicity, and as such, some companies have often made very controversial commercials. You can think of some right now, but then again, some of those commercials really did hurt the brand. I'm thinking of Gillette right now. Gillette, Procter and Gamble did right down the valley of Gillette after the fact. I mean, they kind of did that out of desperation just to get a conversation going. Um, I think everyone knows which commercial I'm talking about, but I can't really think of one off the top of my head, unfortunately. I think it's because it's late. My brain's kind of getting tired. A little bit harder to go back on things. Ask him if he signed up for our software. Absolutely, Gabriel. Absolutely. Can you imagine if that was actually Gabriel? That'd be hilarious. So basically, I'll ask, what do you use to evaluate businesses? Where is my cat? I don't know, Fernando. Or do you mean like the other variation of that word? I have no idea. We are waiting. Screw college. I'll show. Oh no, yeah, like I'm never one to use ad hominem attacks, so don't worry. It won't be. It's never intended to be such a conversation. I will never we've had people in the comments, who made comments on the live stream that something about uh, you know, me being wrong or whatever. And I'm not going to, of course, call that person out because they may be watching and that's not fair to them. But, towards when they were, talking in the chat, they kind of saw that this is very open for disagreement and it's welcomed. Okay. you should you should get up that you can use during streams. I should record the sound, but you see, Strongman does the best noise that I've heard so far. I mean, I haven't heard any of you guys say it, to be fair, but on YouTube, Strongman does the best and the most enthusiastic. I can't do it, no matter what. But yes, I should record it, and it should be like a sound effect that I put, on a button, and then when I press it, it plays like a special effect. Exclusive software. Yes, exactly. Fabio's amazing at taking a genuine look at positions he disagrees with while avoiding sounding condescending. Thank you. Thank you. I take that as a compliment. Thank you. Yes, I am. You can see the sweat. The nice sweat. Terrified. Oi, bruv, to you too. Yes. Oh, if I practice every day, I'll get there, and then eventually my wife will be like, "Why is there a dolphin?" Okay. Well, Mento, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we had it wasn't actually directed towards you, that previous comment. Um, Again, that person might not be here, but Elemento was in one of the live streams, went with a really nice back and forth, and that's again what these live streams are for when they're live streams. Of course, this is different. This is um, we're just waiting on I don't know his name, so I just keep calling him the guest, the gentleman, the individual. If anyone knows his name, I don't know if we should name drop him. Yep, I'll work on getting the button. I'll edit it. Strongman, because you're here and you're more familiar with the software. When he does show up, he should show up in the bottom right next to my picture, and I click him in. Correct? Because I think that's how it would work. That's how I would design it. Yes, I do speak Spanish. Yo hablo español. I did a video with Alex Valleyhead Investing, and we did a bilingual interview. Yeah, it's probably like a really pathetic version of yeah, it does sounds like Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, like that. I bought Evergrande today. Do you think it'll Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Strongman. So when he shows up, he'll show down here at the bottom and I'll click him in. Okay. I mean, again, this might just be we're just hanging out, just waiting. And then if he shows up towards like the next 2 hours, I'll just I don't know, get some work done, keep the live stream going, and then just comment below when he shows up. That's what I'll do. um, I do defend myself very well in Portuguese. She wouldn't say that I'm perfect in Portuguese by any means, but I understand it. Basically every word in a conversation with a Brazilian, someone from Portugal. But yes. Mm-hmm. A lot of people would say I do speak Portuguese, but she would say not. And my friends who are Brazilian probably wouldn't say exactly. But I know I can defend myself definitely in Portuguese. Well, you see, here's the thing. He told me that I was a little B word because I wasn't sending him the email. I have sent him the email. And so we're just waiting here. But yes, we're waiting. He said he was coming. Well, at least he never responded to my email actually, but he said in YouTube comments and stuff. And then I asked him for his email, and eventually I got the email from Spaceland. I didn't even actually get the email directly from him. I think because there was something on YouTube. Meat Canyon. Yeah, I love Meat Canyon. Uh, well, no, no. I wish I would love to speak 6 languages. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. If Chris wants to come on, you can come on, Chris. I mean, we're gonna see if it's possible because we have to see if the times work out. But I would love Chris to come on Saturday. Because by the way, I usually do a live stream on Fridays. I can't do it because my wife has something going on Friday, and so we have plans, so we can't do the scheduled live stream. So the live stream will be on Saturday. And Saturday or the Friday versions, those will be for guests or sometimes solo. Just depends. This is kind of like a special one. So hopefully it becomes a special one. Otherwise, it's going to be me here. Just you guys will just be watching me sit here. No, I'm just a very relaxed person. It takes a lot for me to get angry. Uh, but no, I don't take any supplements. I actually don't really meditate. I should probably do some meditation. My wife tries to get me to meditate sometimes. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a very stressful person. I don't even look at the markets every day. Sometimes I'll don't want to look at it. I'll just relax. Okay. Well, that's the thing. No, no. Saturday night is when I would do it. So if you can do Saturday night, you let me know, strongman, and here you are. You will be here. And yes, no, no. This is a very real power. If you're a married man, this is a very real reality that we have to live with. It is the constant fear. I'm just kidding. One half part of China. If you see what I'm, sorry. Here. This is the first part. I was like, what? There has to be context to this. 1 out of 2. While we were waiting for you mentioned you're growing your interest in semiconductor business. What would you think of the thesis of buying Samsung for the fabs as a hedge against Taiwan? Well, yeah, like that's actually an interesting play. So if you are looking and thinking that China will do something with Taiwan and that's going to cause some disruption, yeah, I assume that's going to heavily impact Taiwan semi. But the thing is, Samsung also does a lot of business in those same jurisdictions as well. So, I mean, it's all kind of connected. I'll say that if China does something with Taiwan, if that's what you're talking about, there will be a lot of things that are going to come down. A lot of things, not just Taiwan Semiconductor, right? American companies have nothing to do with it. Will come down because there'll be a lot of fears again or whatever. Um, and then this is one to part of China. Okay, and then this is the second part of that question. Oh, okay, that's you. That was a correction. 2 out of 2. Yeah. What do you think about the next election in Brazil? Could do outsider investors protection perception? Sorry. Well, the thing is, I think Lula is going to win. My wife is confident, and I think one of my really good friends, he's confident that Bolsonaro is going to win. Predictit.org or .com or whatever says that the odds are in Lula's favor. Lula is how do I say this? He's like of the Workers' Party, and just think of, to simplify it. Hey, Lix. He's part of the Workers' Party, and think of that as kind of like the Socialist Party. So, I think that that individual has a high probability of winning. Again, Predicted says so as well. If they do win, we will see perhaps a lot of policies and corruption. I mean, not that corruption's really left, but like elevated corruption to a higher extent. A little bit more concerning for me if that were to be the case. Not that like current Brazil is like fantastic, but could get worse. And again, I'm talking from the perspective I'm Venezuelan. Lula was really good friends with our dictator Chavez, so you know, similar friend group. um, yes. So yeah, Samsung has fabs. Nvidia is a fabless business. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. But yes, he was saying that they use it. Remember, sometimes our comments have to be very condensed when we comment here because YouTube puts a limit. And again, I already said hi to you, Licks, but just in case you didn't hear me. So, yeah, but that's a lot of the thesis of Intel. Intel is going to be able to develop their own fabs, and then they can actually expand their business in the fabrication. Which again, right now the world is highly concentrated with Samsung and Taiwan Semi, so that would actually be really good. And then Intel is investing, I think, 80 billion euros in Europe, and another tens of billions of dollars here in the United States, and that's going to be good. Uh, well, the thing is, Pinochet, he he was kind of holding back an inevitable tide. And the thing is, because of what he did, also, it's causing a reactionary force. I mean, I'm not Chilean. I don't keep track of Chilean politics like exclusively. So I'm not going to be the best one to give some sort of opinion based on that. But from a Latin American's perspective, uh, Pinochet's actions might have caused an opposite reaction right now that we're seeing, which is unfortunate because it might be that almost all Latin America falls to that kind of stuff. And I think that's Icon Enterprises, right? So the thing is, first of all, they're two completely different structures, and I'll answer everyone else's questions about the guest in a second because I'm seeing them. Um, Kathy Wood live event, by the way, but I'll get to that. uh, I can't compare them, but they're very different structures. Icon Enterprises is a partnership, and Berkshire Hathaway is a holding company categorized under a C corp. So very different from that perspective. I think Icon Enterprises pays a dividend, for example, and there's a reason because again, it's a pass-through entity. So, uh, well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm still giving faith to him, and that should answer that. It was supposed to start 8:30. It's 8:52 right now. And for this context, no, I don't really watch the Kathy Wood events. Not really my thing. I don't really I don't know. I've already stated my opinions a little bit unfiltered about Kathy Wood. Elon Musk, great entrepreneur. Yeah, sure. And all that. So I won't take that away from him as well, especially. S- Yes, yeah, I do think so. Even within, yeah, yes. So it's not completely separated, and I agree. A lot of people think that we'll be completely independent. There's a lot of different things that different little components that come together to make up semiconductors per se as a whole. So it's just going to be one step closer to that. But yes, no, it won't be. Especially since United States has tons of regulations already in as far as procuring rare earth minerals. So we have I think a huge deposit in California, but we're not going to really utilize it based on what we see. Yeah, yeah. The world's kind of coming back. That's why, I've seen and I've had some questions from some subscribers um regarding travel stocks, and I think it's because a creator, much larger creator, mentioned that was an interesting play. I'll say it is an interesting play if and only if we're very selective with which ones we're really talking about, because some of them have permanent destruction in their actual balance sheets. And I'm saying that on purpose, by the way. If you guys get the joke, balance sheets, not the balance sheet. Um, and so that permanent destruction might not mean that they'll recover exactly to where they were. But of course, some of them, weren't as bad. I discussed that in actually the last live stream. Yeah. Oh, recycled. Oh, okay. It just keeps playing. All right. Well, watch out for that, Julius Caesar. I mean, I don't watch them anyway, but everyone else, watch out for that. They're just repeating it just to, I guess, get some information out there. Okay. So thoughts on Honest. Okay. So here's the thing. Honest is trying to break into a category, and they're trying to attack so many. How to balance shit. Sorry, I just saw it. So many different products, right? At such a small size. And the thing is, if you don't try to focus on at least one or two at a time, or maybe just a couple at a time, who knows what the right amount is. I'm not working that industry, but I see them as kind of struggling to become a master of something, and they're competing with the likes of Kimberly Clark, Procter and Gamble, Unilever, and the like, right? So you have that going against them, right? And what they have, I guess, going for them is branding of being an honest company, right? You know, oh yeah, that's the. I thought it was for a second. No. That's the funny account. Um, but yeah, we saw the decline. I took a quick peek, but I'm gonna actually do an actual video on them probably tomorrow, if time allows it. And the main concern I saw was that lack of growth. It's a growth stock, guys, but didn't really grow that much, and that's a little bit of a concern. And I actually saw that one analyst was kind of upset, or not upset, kind of annoyed with management. But yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, I love this comment. Uh, well, we don't even know if he's still in here, but he's got a job. He's one of those guys. Jobs. LUV. So that's Southwest Airlines for anyone who might not know. Southwest Airlines is very well capitalized when compared to all the other ones. I think I did a video on the airline stocks as a whole, and I think I came out with like Southwest would be the play if I had to choose one. It's just there's a lot of concerns right now. Um, I don't think the market is as concerned as I am. Which then, of course, if I saw that the market was really concerned, then I would be less concerned, because then they would be pricing in a lot of the concern. And at the present moment, I don't think they are pricing in, like, for example, a potential slowdown because of where gas prices are at. Oh gosh, my peripheral vision has seen a comment down there. Brooklyn is up and down tens of hundreds of quarters in the market on a daily. He doesn't need you to clout. Tens of hundreds of quarters. I don't know if that's a joke or if that's serious. Are there proof that Elon actually does engineering? On PayPal, he apparently wrote the code and um, maybe. I mean, sometimes I have no idea. I couldn't answer that. Can you explain your idea of ROIC for Citigroup if it doesn't take long? LOL. Yes, of course. So, and it's more of a measure of return on tangible equity, which is for banks more or less kind of the same. But not really. But it's kind of like their metric that you have to use. And the thing is, Citigroup's I think is sub 10%. I'd have to look at the numbers again, but sub 10%. Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan are all above that. And so because of that, Citigroup will always trade at a discount relative to book value. And so a lot of people look at it trading below book value and say, oh, well, it's cheap. Well, it's like, yeah, on the surface, yes, it's cheap. However, when you kind of take into account the return on tangible equity as a measure, then it doesn't look as cheap, right? Because you basically are paying for a lower quality business. Not that it's a poor quality business, it's just lower quality than Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and the like, right? So that's essentially one metric that we have to really take a look at. And again, we're using the metric of GAAP net income, which is a better metric than cash flows for the reasons I stated in that video, which there'll be a longer version of that video. But in that video, I think I did a decent job at explaining it. Now, this is what I laughed at because it's absolutely hilarious. And Strongman, if you're still here, this is directed at you. I think this is targeted harassment towards you. My defensive portfolio is 25% tattooed chef, 25% honest, 25% SDC, and I guess the other 25% is a short position with VT. That'd be hilarious. I actually what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm actually going to create a position within the portfolio. It's going to be on the speculative side of the portfolio, and it's going to be called the YouTube stock position. And in that YouTube stock position, I'm going to break it down. And it's going to be a combination of all the YouTube stocks. And it's going to be equally weighted. And we're just going to have fun and watch it. All right. So, uh, oh, this is not directed towards me, but look at that. Everyone's getting along in the chats. Is there a lower limit for market cap of a stock that you would have to invest in? No, not for me to invest in, but for me to talk on the channel about. Yes. Mm-hmm. No micro caps. I don't want to talk about micro caps, but I have micro caps in the portfolio. They're on the speculative side. This guy has no clue what he's talking about. Just rambling. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was looking at other things, but yeah, you can feel like that. That's fine. You can just ask a question and see. Um, yeah, maybe. Okay, but do you think they're changing their return on tangible equity considering you are accumulating it? Well, I'm accumulating it only because it's a it's to be honest, it should end up being in the speculation side, but um the like there's a potential that they do fix it, but that's just the potential that they do. And if they do, you might see a closure into the tangible book value gap that you see versus other companies. So yeah, so that's why I'm accumulating, but it's only the ugly stepchild that's kind of remained because I did have JP Morgan Chase, I did have Bank of America, and I did have a Wells Fargo, and I sold them, and Morgan Stanley, but I sold those as part of preparation for what I believe this was the liquidity crunch. So they didn't make it throughout the year. So when the portfolio finally became public at 1,000 subs, they were gone, and the last one was Citigroup. It's not because I think Citigroup is better than the others. I prefer my favorite one is Bank of America for different reasons, but okay. I see some stuff. Arturo, I left. Waiting on Capital Mindset debate, bro, under his most recent vid. Yeah, well, we're still waiting. I still have faith. I still have faith that the individual will show up. Luna. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Let me know if you guys are interested. So I saw that there's a huge lack of content on YouTube, really breaking down how each of the different blockchain systems work. So I'm thinking, and this is the thing, I got requests for Coinbase and Voyager, and I have several requests. So it's actually been requested a couple times. But upon the beginning of the preparation for that video, I began to think about how, well, first we need to explain what are the assets held before we begin, or to explain the business processes. And then I realized that there really isn't much content on the actual blockchain structures and how they actually work. Because like Luna, for example, is a stabilizer currency. And a lot of people don't really know what that means or what the implications are. So what I'm going to do is a series of videos on different blockchains and kind of explain more or less how they function respectively. And then after that, kind of culminate those into a video, kind of get going into Coinbase and Voyager, which were the requested ones. Okay. Okay. So when companies buy back their stock at all-time highs, creating negative tangible assets, can we assume that they're just trying to artificially support their? Yeah, I mean they could be. Absolutely. That's very possible. Or they're just telling you in some capacity that, hey, there really isn't much for us to invest in, so this is all that we have to invest in, and that's not really a good sign. That's more of like a concern macro wise. If everyone's just buying back shares and not investing into new projects, of course, I don't think they're only investing or sorry, not investing in projects. Maybe we are still waiting. Thoughts on Ally? Ally Bank focuses a lot on auto loans, so they have a huge exposure to auto loans. In a downturn, that's not good to hold. But that's quick thoughts. That's not full thoughts. I might be honest. I might, but to be honest, I don't want to. Oh, this is still. I need to see that you guys are having your own conversation there. Okay, so you want me to go into this right now in this live stream? Hey, I still have faith, Spaceland. I still have faith. You are the one who set this up. All right. You must go summon him. Bring him here. At this point, people will see the after because I guess a lot of people came in and saw it's not really happening and have left. Some people are probably just having us in the background. Okay, so yes, I know, and he's not coming. Okay, so you've confirmed that he is not coming. All right. So I guess you're referring to here, um, Tether and the I think you mean Terra, sorry, not Terra. Oh, you haven't confirmed it yet. All right, so we'll go into the thesis of Netflix, and then if towards the end, I might get into those cryptos, because again, they were going to have their own video. They're still going to have their own video, and I know from a lot of my audience, they're going to be like, "Oh gosh, a crypto video." It's going to be like, well, it's going to be a little bit, not to say that uh, I'm not like going to be promoting a crypto. I'm just going to be talking about an ecosystem. Okay. All right. So, what is your thesis on Netflix? Because when I plug in growth estimates, I see Netflix is probably overvalued. I think because are you using cash flows? If you're using cash flows, then that's the main problem. Like, are you using operating cash flows? And then, if I might ask, are you by chance using Everything Money software? Okay, so I'll start, I guess, beginning what Luna is, I guess. But for those of you who don't know, Luna is a crypto. Okay. And Luna is basically, well, let's call it a stabilizer currency. Again, this will be in a more in-depth video, but Luna is used to stabilize what is known as the Terra ecosystem, right? And Terra and Luna are kind of inverses of one another. Okay. Um, I'm getting more questions. Again, I'm sorry, Spaceland, but crypto right now takes a backseat, because if I get any stock questions, I'll answer those first. Okay, yes, I did see Honest My Bonus went down. Honest My Bonus, again, they had disappointment on growth. So a little bit about um, the problems, I guess, arising from that is some of the analysts were kind of frustrated with the management, because they were saying or blaming the lack of growth on some supply chains, but it was like fourth quarter problems, except they're like, how does that affect the current quarter? And management's kind of going back and forth. They're basically saying in the future they're going to focus more on direct to consumer channels instead of retail channels, because retail channels was what's kind of slowing down. And again, my kind of thoughts on that is that they're overextending themselves. They're competing against very large, very capable firms that just as easily can incorporate honest level, whatever branding that people really care about. And the price point of honest is not very competitive whatsoever. Okay, so one of my favorite investors is Howard Marks. He's really good. He's A lot of people don't really talk about him. Seth Klarman, really good. I'm just avoiding Buffett because Buffett's the vanilla answer. Yeah, I mainly replicated their software and used it for Netflix. Well, if you're using operating cash flows, you're not going to get an exact estimate. It's similar to the problem with looking at Amazon through the same respect, because then you're going to be punishing it if you're not careful for growth, right? For the capex necessary for growth. Except Amazon and Netflix are going to be doing it in a different way, and and the cash that's you're supposed to allocate towards that is actually under different line items, because one is content related, and the other one is like capex related. So Amazon's a little bit easier, but you have to be careful not to punish it for reinvestment into growth. Buffett's actually talked extensively about that. You don't want to punish, you want to do maintenance capex, not the growth capex. Okay. They didn't. Oh, you see, I keep doing that. All right. So back to your question, Spaceland. All right. Again, if another Paul Pelosi is my favorite investor. Yes, for those of you who don't know, that individual has outperformed the market by quite a bit. For some reason, I have no idea why. For some reason, they're outperforming the market. All right. No, is that a YouTube channel? I mean, I can add it to the list of people you guys want me to review. And the answer is yes, I do on some, but not often. Very few. And we're talking about after the fact that they IPO, correct? So they just IPO'd and I buy them. Okay, so I will write this video down and then I'll take a look at it. That's because we got another confirmation that's a good video. Oh, you see, my brain's just not working. My brain is not working. You see, it's too late in the day. You know, too much work. It's Ray Dalio's video. Yes, I've already seen it. Yeah, it's okay. So what I have watched it, and yeah, he repeats a lot of information. Like it's not entirely unique, but it's in a format that it's going to be very easy for a lot of people to understand. And so I applaud it because it's going to get a lot of people to really think conceptually about these concepts. And yeah, like the what he's saying is correct, except I don't think he's right on that China is going to be the one. I think that when the answer is the obvious answer, a lot of times not the answer, if you know what I mean. So like everyone thinks it will be this, and then because everyone thinks it will be that, there's a good chance it might not actually be that. So everyone right now thinks that China is the next world superpower, and then watch it be, I don't know, India or something like that. Do I think grocery stores are good plays for inflation? Yeah, they are inflation resistant. My wife has a couple grocery stores. I don't. Well, Austin's one of my ex co-hosts. He really likes Albertsons, for example. Yes. So if it's Netflix, so that's why I always say nuance is very important. So in a lot of things, like the model that I have that I use a lot is programmed to do these nuances automatically. But see, the thing is, you're going to have to account for that as an investor still, right? No matter how good your tool is, you are the best tool, right? So you have to hone that skill, this. And so every business, some businesses are very similar, so that makes it's very easy to evaluate. Other businesses are very difficult, or a little more difficult with a little bit of a different flavor to them. So that's what I'm going to say there. So you got to be careful not to punish a business for capital expenditures that it needs to grow, right? To an extent, okay? Because if that capex isn't yielding a return, then you have a separate concern, because then they're just burning money. Hedging your positions is a decent strategy. It depends on what position we're talking about, nuance. But no, I would hedge my positions sometimes, depending on what we're talking about. If I think that something has a risk that I can clearly observe and calculate, then I might consider hedging. I actually already do. Mark, no, not yet. We're still waiting. I think we're gonna be on the hour mark at 9:30, waiting. If you guys want to summon him, you guys can like comment on his channel and tell him that I'm here waiting. But yeah. This is referring to, yes. So it's kind of like they kind of stay stable, but in nominal terms, right? The price should rise, right? As the everything kind of rises in price, so to speak. Yeah, Antarctica will become the world superpower. Bullish on penguins. All right, thoughts on Palantir. I mean, right now, technically, they have an unrivaled software, but how long will it be unrivaled for is the concern. I have a video kind of expressing my interaction with Palantir, my ownership of Palantir, then my sales of Palantir. Again, and then proof was shown because obviously it's a very popular stock, and a lot of people wanted to would probably question, be like, "Hey, how do I know you did that?" or whatever. Anyway, yes, the word. Mercado Libre. So Mercado Libre, I like it a lot. in terms of its business model, the price is kind of. I have also a past relationship with Mercado Libre, just as I did Spotify, not Spotify, Shopify. And Mercado Libre does a lot of interesting things. Because it's like a Shopify-esque kind of, not really, Amazon-esque, not really, and also like a Block, right? It's all these kind of things kind of mashed together, and a lot of people compare it. They're like, it's the Amazon of Latin America. It's the Square of Latin America. The people, I've heard it all. It's really interesting, and I have read the Lawrence Summers article. So there are basically the gist for everyone who hasn't read it yet. Lawrence Summers is an ex-Treasury official, and I think they are a professor at Harvard University, and they were, I think, the headmaster at Harvard University previously. So from that, you're getting a lot of argument from authority, right? Doesn't mean that they're right in what they say, but an individual who's well accomplished, and their opinion is that the Federal Reserve is going to lead the United States into stagflation, so high unemployment, high inflation, and that this is the natural progression of everything. Okay. Yeah. So we're just there are so many questions. Like, a lot of people do think that that's coming. He may be right, but then there's a lot of factors that might end up causing it not to occur, right? So a lot of times when we make bold claims such as that, and it doesn't occur, we might get away with it. A lot of claims are always made about macroeconomic outcomes, but it's different. Oh, we have to. Absolutely, BP. Absolutely. Thank you for showing up, BP. um, okay, so it's a high. Okay, yeah, because cash cows, right? Oh, sorry, I don't want to skip anyone's comments here or questions. What do you think about going back to 52-week lows one more time? I've got some limit buy order. See, the thing is that it could happen, it might not happen. What I say is always just focus on buying great companies at good prices that you think are good prices, and allocate these assets over long periods of time, and you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. If you do that, sometimes you'll find yourself that you'll be more cash heavy than others. And if you're strict with how you deploy your capital, you're picky with who you let into your portfolio, you'll find that sometimes you are more cash than other times, and that's all well and good. And you find that sometimes you accidentally are sort of kind of timing the market, but you're not timing the market. That's not your criteria. Your criteria is, do I see good assets? Do I want to own these good assets? And that's it. It removes the noise, right? Because there's a lot of noise. Again, because a lot of people, this is the main problem with macroeconomics. A lot of people will pinpoint one key measurable criteria, and then they'll plan their strategy around that single criteria, and then they're not considering a bunch of other criteria, which then could cause their predictions to be wrong. Okay. Yes, I do. I actually do take naps. Okay. I do take naps. Oh, and again, I don't want to skip over anyone's. But yes, this is. I'll get to this one first, actually. And Strongman has a really good point here, because the thing is, if you segregate out, right, some of these non-dividend paying stocks, right, because that's what cows is. Cows is the reason why it's ticker symbol cows. Is the idea is it's a cash cow, so it's a cash cow in your portfolio. But the thing is, you're leaving out a lot of the growth factors in the market, right? And again, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, Strongman, because that's going to be saved for our live stream on Saturday. But the main premise of VT is, in essence, capital preservation above all, which is a safe path to generating wealth, because then you focus on saving and accumulating, growing your income, and saving and accumulating, and then your wealth is preserved in its value currently, and then should inflation occur, whatever, you get that added benefit. Okay. But the problem with cows is, if you segregate stocks based off of these criteria, if you do a blind criteria application for long periods of time, that could actually be a detriment, and that kind of deserves some video. But a lot of ETFs do that, and then they don't perform very well. And then sometimes in some decades they might perform very well, because that criteria may be applicable in a good way. All right. Okay. So Logitech. I think I already did an analysis on Logitech. Check out the video. It's comparing Corsair and Logitech at the same time. And then at the end, I let the viewer decide what they choose. And then if they comment down below what they decide, but I do go over both of those companies. But basically the gist, Logitech focuses on enterprise agreements. Corsair is not really there yet, but they do offer, a lot of products for, gaming, office, I guess not really office, but streaming. And yeah, they're vastly different companies in that sense. Okay, so if it's not coming, I mean, I think it's safe to conclude. I'll close it off at 9:30, and I'll just conclude that, you know, it didn't show up. So yeah, very very interesting character then. Yeah, BP, you become a legend around here. Just saying, because we got here, Spaceland loves you. um, yeah, just looking through here. A lot of comments about BP. I'm telling you, you're a legend. Okay, here's a one half question. All right, so and then the second part. Aren't index funds potentially held by survival held up by survivorship bias since the 80s? You can mindlessly invest in them and perform well since interest rates got cut. Yeah, that's going into a larger picture about stocks in general though. Or REITs. I think that's kind of applicable to REITs in some instances because I in the REITs video I actually showcased that interest rates and REITs, there's a little bit of a nuance with in terms of what causes outperformance and non-outperformance. But let me read the rest of your question before I get into it. Investing blindly and not factoring in cash flows and qualitative aspects of such as in index funds, investors could potentially lead to subpar performance as expensive now as they thought. All right, so here's where I'll actually say this point kind of arises from, and there's a lot of good parts of this point, but then there's the counterpoints, which I'll make sure to address as well. But so as long as index funds are a minority of the market, because the idea is that you are not making the choice, you're doing a market cap weighted allocation, or yeah, market cap weighted allocation, and essentially what that means is you're allowing the market to basically allocate capital for you. And if you're a minority of the market, let's say this index fund or index funds in general, this allocation will happen naturally over time, and capital will naturally over time allocate efficiently, right? The idea is that. And you're basically just following that, right? Now, your point comes from, and these are the critics of long-term index funds. They'll say that once they become a majority of the market, then they become what's known as the market makers. And then in that instance, they are the buyer of first and last resort, essentially. Not to that extreme, because that would be the mega extreme, but they would be buying assets higher and then selling assets lower. And then I'll say to you, that's the thesis or theory that we are going to apply. I would say for an individual investor, it makes it even better, right? It makes it even easier than before, right? And then it'll be kind of like a switch. But that's kind of like the criticism against that. But then the counter argument to that is that currently they're not that large, and they might not ever be that large. Okay, so then that's the counter. But yeah, that's a good question. Kind of like a conceptual question. All right. I meant more about IMP versus BRKS investment in an investment. Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you meant them as investments. I think at the present size, yes. I think that's pretty easy because the thing is, Berkshire Hathaway, they're fighting against the law of large numbers. They're already so large. It's very difficult for Warren Buffett to find something else to invest in. He has to, as he says, he has an elephant gun and he's hunting elephants. If he buys a like a small cap business that's really good, it's not really going to affect him. But I think Icon Enterprises is in the tens of billions of dollars, or it's in the billions of dollars. It's not in the hundreds of billions of dollars. So Icon can go after companies like Newell Brands, for example, that he went after, and he kind of turned that business around. So if that turns out really well for them, it's going to actually affect them. All right. So that, yeah, thank you for clarifying that, because now that, yeah. Is there a reason you majored in both finance and accounting? Do you advise it to others? Okay, so that's a good way of actually getting your necessary hours to get your CPA license. instead of getting your master's, right? You just major in both, and then you'll if you apply yourself, you go far above and beyond the class of the core class material. There's a lot to learn as well. So yes. All right. Thanks, John. I guess that's for referring to your comments up above. I want to buy beaten down cash cow stocks like Unilever, Intel, KMB, but Mike Stathis said on one of his YouTube videos that the market is going to go down a heck of a lot more. Sure, it could. It might. Again, I would say that longer term strategies for most people is not going to be timing the market. It will simply be just focus on accumulating assets that you desire at prices that are good in your opinion. And that again relies on your analysis. Okay, so that's contingent on having good analysis, of course. Oh, yeah, I don't mean to skip questions. If I skip a question, I apologize. I think you skipped this question. How big of a consideration do you give to diversification in your portfolio? Does it make sense to look at covariation between stocks? Covariation between stocks, yeah. No, I don't whatsoever. All I do is quite simple. Of course, you learn covariation, measuring covariation in the portfolio between positions, stuff in your classes, in your finance classes especially. But no, I don't take that into consideration. I mean, it's more like an art and a science. I actually don't apply the science aspect, so I don't measure it per se. But I'll kind of be cognizant of it in my mind to say, okay, I have a lot of exposure to energy. I don't want that much exposure to energy. But no, I don't really. I just look for a good asset that I like. I buy it, and I try to, I guess, in the decision-making process to how big the position will be. That might be in consideration, but more of like an art than a science. Okay, the market is rational because overpriced stocks cannot be arbitrated down because indices are large and part of the market. Yeah, see, this is the argument, and Elemental Tomago is exactly pointing it out. This is the argument that I was talking about. It's worded right here. Oh, I mean, okay, so like the thing is, more labor, more skilled labor is always really good for a country. That's what I'll say. More skilled labor is always good for a country. But hear my words carefully with that. Well, yeah, except they're kind of balancing it out for you. And again, the theory for index funds is that a market cap weighted index, to some people might sound counterintuitive, but then when you really break down like the theory behind it, it does make sense because if you think that over time capital allocate efficiently, then if you do a market cap weighted index, that's the idea behind it, right? And it turns out that so far that has actually worked really well when compared to professional fund managers. Of course, professional fund managers, they have a lot of restrictions in terms of their ability to invest, which is why I would never want to be one. I mean, maybe yes, because the paycheck's nice, but as far as investing performance, I'd probably perform terribly because you'd have to over diversify. And I cannot. If you put a gun to my head and pick like 500 stocks, I'm going to pick a ton of trash. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. The fact that index fund invest works at all. And then Fabio, only if you're in Florida, it varies state by state. I don't know what that's referring to. I'm sorry. By the way, for everyone who's just joining, the debate seems to not be going through. So the other individual did not show up, unfortunately. I like Porsche, Fabio, but who do you really see giving Tesla legitimate competition? Also, I don't think, yes, he's not showing up, Shorty. I've already accepted it. This has turned into just, a casual conversation on the live stream. That's all this has been. So it's still not a waste. Okay. I think Okay, so Tesla legitimate competition. I mean, I haven't done enough research into the EV space to really determine that. The opinions on Porsche are just my own opinions about the car. But and again, I have a good friend of mine he's the gearhead of the friend group. He loves the electric Porsche car, loves it, swears by it. Nothing wrong with Teslas, by the way. Teslas are also very fun to drive. But yeah, as of now, I know that Porsche is planning on being fully EV in like 2 years. We have BMW's EV, but the thing is, BMW's EV is like it's nice on the inside. Don't get me wrong, and I think in the future, internal quality, I think a lot of customers are going to value that. Teslas don't have the absolute best, but of course, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Not benefit of the doubt, benefit of them being a newer company. So they're gonna fix that. Like I actually argue in favor of Tesla in terms of it surviving and thriving as perhaps one of the largest, or if not the largest car company in the world at some point. It's just the valuation, my friend. It's just the valuation. At what price is that worth? I'd be open if anyone requests to have a debate and they email me. I'd be open to it. The only way I would not invite someone to debate is if I knew that they would say extremely profane or insulting things to other people while on here. Ad hominem attacks towards me, I don't really care. That was going to be the rules if this person had shown up. That ad hominem attacks towards me are completely okay, but that he would refrain from using ad hominem attacks towards any of you guys. But yes, that's kind of my only things. All right, there's a lot of comments here. Oh my gosh, I need to catch up. Oh gosh, you guys are. Okay. Buffett, because he's a funny guy. He buys McDonald's all the time. But that's a hard one. Oh gosh, so many of these. I won't get through all of them. I'm sorry, guys, but what is this? Fabio, is it bad that I want the market? No, it's not bad at all. You should want it to crash if you're young. If you're gonna retire tomorrow, definitely not. You don't want that to happen. Before everything starts crying. Yeah, I don't have the donate button on. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just ask questions. Okay, so hey, Fabio, is a good YOLO to everything. It's a very good food company. Yeah, you're gonna be down at the truck stop. I don't think so. Yeah, that's the dual major is referring to the 150 for the CPA. Look at that. Arturo Nesse and Chris are getting along. Nicola, yeah, the other. So yeah, we all know about Nicola. Because they're not selling well. So either they don't have a demand or they don't know how to scale EV production. Are we talking about the Porsche one? Well, the Porsche one's like $200,000, I think, or over $100,000. It's like not even mass market. Like they're not actually competing right now on the EV. Right now, Tesla is like the only one. We got the Mach-E, which I see some here and there, but again, Mach-E's not the same. Tesla, no, by far is going to be Tesla's probably going to be the number one EV company. They just were so far ahead, but the thing is, what is the market share going to end up being? All right, they could be the largest one, but Andrew, yeah, it's called investing in yourself. Is Tesla charger ecosystem a significant moat? Yes, it can be. Yes, because the thing is, if you believe and if it occurs that Tesla ends up, controlling and dominating the EV space, of course it's going to be a moat. Of course it is. Because there's that added level of complexity. Oh, I have to have a dongle now. I have to do an adapter and charge my car. But if I have a Tesla, I don't need that. The added convenience factor. Those things go a long way. People need to not underestimate those. Okay, going to 50% in the next 50 years. Well, but the thing is, some people do, and then the thing is, where well, I mean, BP, if he wants to do it, you can let him know, and then he can email me, and then we can make it happen. Okay, drinking. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So if you throw me Peter Lynch and Buffett, I'm just like, I'll take Buffett because look, the guy eats so unhealthily, and look at him. He's almost, what is he, pushing 90? Yeah. Um, BTI is already up on the up and up, right? I think it will beat the market in the years to come. Cheap. Yeah, well, look at that dividend yield alone. Basically, that's a hated asset. When I see that, that's a hated asset. And there's not really much business stress as far as I can see. Some similar to like Altria. Altria has been one of the best performing stocks of all time if you had reinvested dividends, as an example. And that just was a hated company. If you get past like the fact that they profit from tobacco, if you're one of those who, has that moral investing code, then that's fine. But whatever. To make a video on, yes, unfortunately. I mean, you can share it, and I can take a look at it. But like, yeah, to make a video on it, as a good practice, I wouldn't do it. The thing is, if I were to invest and make a video in it, what I would have to do, and I'd have to be extremely transparent about this, because one, I don't want to get in trouble, and two, I'm not a scumbag. So I would be very, very, yeah, I'd have to be very, very careful. I have to make it so that it's so transparent, where I make the video, publish the video first, and then would buy it. If it's like that small, when the channel is like larger, because then obviously that's can be considered pump and dump. Otherwise, companies like that, I will talk about maybe in the past tense as case studies. And that's more likely where I'm kind of aiming out to be. And then if I make investments like that, they might show up in the portfolio, but I just won't even mention them. They'll just be there. And again, you can think of it like a voluntary 13F filing. So, but yeah. Long-term dividend play, yes. I mean, I do think that they're going to be growing their dividend for years and years and years to come. Very, very safe business. Will you outperform the market? I don't know, and I kind of question that prospect, but that depends on what your strategy is. Maybe in the downturn, they're going to have a lower beta, so they're not going to go down as much as the market. So that's something to consider as well, right? Because they are considered to be a more stable business, something that doesn't care about the market conditions, stuff like that. But excellent question. For those of you who are dividend investors, that's the thing. All right. I need more tanking. Yeah, I know. We need the market. Wow. There's I mean, it's great. I love that there's a lot of comments. I love there's a lot of comments. I'm just noticing how many come in now. um Fabio, I need 4x my money within the next 4 years. How do I do that in the stock market? Would you recommend buying Meet Kevin or Jeremy's investing course? I recommend buying call options on Jeremy's course and then shorting Meet Kevin's course, because Meet Kevin's course keeps going up in price and Jeremy's keeps going down in price. Ha 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 ha. Send Mike Stathis a polite email for a debate, unlike the one Softboy Man sent. Also, he did call you a chump, so he needs to at least explain why he said that, which he did to his viewers. Yes, I remember that. And I'm a salty, salty man. I'm kidding. All right. I really want to own Tesla. We all want to own Tesla. I know a lot of us want to own Tesla, but even the most basic variant of the Model 3 costs. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You live in Singapore. Oh, yeah. I have family who lives in Singapore, but yeah, all the cars are very expensive because of the extra fees. I use BTI in the route. Yeah. What a man right here. What a man. Untaxed. Oh, just lets it grow. Yeah, you see, I actually structure my portfolio in a similar way where I tend to try my best to put the dividend payers in tax advantage accounts, and then non dividend payers in my non-tax advantage accounts. I try my best to structure it that way, so that I can make the most of it, right? Be the most tax efficient as possible. I try my best. If all Tesla does is sell EVs, the stock price might not do much, or go down, because then it depends on the market share, right? And the profit margins they're able to achieve, which probably will be very high compared to the others. Okay, Spaceline. 3D printing industry. Very too early to tell who's going to be the winner, but very interesting industry. Very interesting. I'd have to almost dedicate myself to even like fully, provide a good opinion on what these companies are doing, right? But yeah, very interesting industry. We'll see what the I think one of them is like Desktop Metal, does some interesting things. There's Nano Dimensions and other ones, but like, or just buy the Cathie Wood Index and just get that. I'm just kidding. I would buy the dip in Berkshire, maybe, but I like Markel and Boston Omaha a little bit more. Again, because law of large numbers, law of large numbers. And, Todd and Ted make some interesting investments. I'll say that. They are no Buffett. He doesn't even disclose their returns, which is, I wish he would do that. And then I would have to just, you know. All right. Okay, I will contemplate it, BP. But the thing is, if someone wants to come on here, they can email me or contact me. The thing is, this individual who this was supposed to be about was the one who contacted me. It was Spaceland who was pressuring the guy, I guess, and then he messaged me on my channel, and then I was like, all right, let's do it. And then the person went back and forth, and then calling me naughty names, saying I wasn't sending him. But like if this individual so requests or desires to have a discussion, conversation, debate, they'll let my guests decide the format. It can be a debate, or it could just be a conversation. But I will ask tough questions. Fabio, your pick Markel is ripping super high. Is that your best pick this year? No, and it's not even like a pick this year. It's been an investment. I just talked about it. That I started accumulating more of it, but no, that's a long-term hold forever. Chris, there would be a point in which I sell, but like I don't want to sell it. I want to keep it for as long as possible. But no, I've had as far as this year goes. I mean, like we had Activision Blizzard that for the acquisition reasons roared over. I think it was 50. I think in total it was like 50%, something like 50+% gains, but that was over a very short period of time. But yeah. Okay, I can't wait when Tesla has a bearish outlook and the stock drop. Yeah, you see, that's the thing. As soon as sentiment changes on that, boom, done. HPQ has 3D printing, but you see, that's a legacy business coming into it. So, maybe they're gonna kick some butt. Stratus taught me a very painful lesson about taking. Yeah, you see, like sometimes playing with the soap is bad. Playing with the soap can be very bad. Sometimes it's like, oh, we just hold things and just keep it going. Just hold on to it forever. Puts on Cathie Wood's mustache. Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay, BP. I guess. Oh, you already responded to him down there. Okay. It's humbling to know that I'm. Hey, Brandon. Well, that's nice. That's nice. Yes, and it is true. But yes, we can go places. Also, the joke. You can't finish. I guess HPQ's marketing sucks because it didn't make the list. LOL. Yeah. On Cathie Woods? Yeah, probably. It's sad how much you guys give attention to PP. Way too much. All he does is talk about Mike. Who cares about Mike? Well, Mark, everyone cares about Mike. Well, oh, I didn't even see this. Yeah, there you go. All right, so Tesla website says Tesla sold out of production for this year, so sentiment probably won't drop this year. Yeah, no, sentiment probably won't drop this year, next year. In a coming slowdown, perhaps, maybe. Thing is, right now their cars are not geared towards the mass market. I think that's objective. We can say that. And right now there isn't a viable competitor at the present moment. So, yeah. That's pretty much all I can say about that. I agree with a lot of it, right? Okay, here's like the thing. I think Tesla as a business will do fantastic, right? The stock is separate. The stock is what we're basically paying for a business, right? Any business. I think that's obvious. And I think at the present moment, what is the market cap at? let me actually, I don't want to say a word that's not true. The market cap's at $1 trillion. It just passed $1 trillion again. So what we're getting is, let's say it becomes the largest car company in the world, and we're paying exactly, not exactly, but over $1 trillion for the largest car company in the world. Traditionally, that's considered to be very expensive for something like a car company. And then you say, well, it's a software company. Well, okay, absolutely, maybe it's a software company. But even then, there's limits, right? There's limits. There's limits. So it has to be about, at the end of the day, it will be judged on how much cash flows it can attain, and then the potential for it to return those cash flows to said shareholders over the long periods of time. And we have seen this play out over and over and over again with exuberance. And I think this is clear, cut and dry exuberance. And I'm not a genius for saying that. I don't want anyone who says that Tesla's in a bubble is not a genius. However, I think that I applaud anyone who bought Tesla before the bubble. There's nothing wrong with that. I'd say that, even if when it went up exuberantly, and if someone was new to the market, they bought Tesla and then it doubled, there's nothing wrong with doubling your money, but it's all about a sustainable strategy. Is that sustainable going forward? Can you apply that again and again and again? Because you shouldn't want to double your money once, twice. You should try to grow your money for as long as possible, as safely as possible. Oh, yes. Thank you, Elemento. Thank you. I am a genius for thinking that. I was just trying to be humble. I don't know about the software side, but traditional autos is more like banks. They don't make money on the cars. Yeah, actually, because a lot of it is, financed, right? But you can finance a Tesla. I think the same thing through Tesla. Am I incorrect in making that assumption? Because yeah, am I incorrect in making that assumption? I think you can finance through Tesla. Take back about what you said. Yeah, I take it back. I take it back. I am a genius for calling it out. All right. What would you short ARK? I bought a small position in SARK. Have fun with that. That's all I'll have to say. That is a fun position. Would I short ARK? Maybe not right now, because should we see like a pump in liquidity into the markets, something like ARK might surprise you in the short term, and then you can be caught holding your pants, or with your pants down for a short time as it rises up a little bit. But longer term, a lot of names in Cathie Wood's portfolio are not really based on fundamentals. They're based on stories. So she's a storyteller and she's a saleswoman. She's a very good saleswoman. She's done this before. She's coming back again. I've shared my unfiltered thoughts before on Cathie Wood. I don't know about Bibble. Yeah, I don't know about Bibble, but biblical principles, very interesting. Very interesting. I will actually just, because that I've never heard of something like that. I will definitely just take a look at that. Wait, this is a comment from no, I thought I got a comment from the supposed guest that was supposed to come here. But I think we made the point, guys, and the guest is not showing up. So again, for everyone, I'm going to kind of close off the stream here. Thank you guys so much for coming. Sorry that the individual did not show up. But yeah, it was still a good time talking to you guys. We're talking about random things. It wasn't really an organized live stream, because again, this was an impromptu live stream right off the cuff. Again, because we didn't have the person show up. You guys can call him what you want. I might call him something else off the show, but on the show, I am an angel, and I will not say bad things. I'll read these last comments, but then I'm going to close off, guys, because I'm going to go to bed. All right. Owning Tesla is like having a non-expiring call option on self-driving cars and robots. That has to be worth about a $10 trillion minimum. LOL. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, if all those things occur, okay, And yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. So it's a non-expiring call option. So I would say, like, if that's the thesis, then now the next question becomes position sizing, and that depends, right? So position sizing, if you're very confident that happening, then there you go. All right. And then to close off, so what do you think about the airlines as reopening trade now that everyone has been realizing that the coup was just flu and the vaccines were all scams and exploding people's hearts? Um, well, the airlines, I'd be careful. Some of them had permanent destruction of their balance sheet, and they've issued a lot of shares, so they're not exactly going to recover. Some of them have not. I think I've talked about Southwest Airlines, but even then, right now I'm a little bit more on the nervous side. I don't think the market's kind of pricing in right now some uncertainties, just some temporary uncertainties. But like, I think if those uncertainties kind of play out a little bit and then the market prices those in, I'll be on the optimist side and I'll be buying something like a Southwest Airlines. But that's about as far as I'll go. Carnival Cruise is another one. Much more concerned about that one in terms of consumer spending. Consumer spending can be heavily affected by rising gas prices, so that drastically can draw down the budget for any consumer, because that's a luxury expense, going on a cruise. So I'm looking at more of like an RCL in that respect. Hopefully that answers that question. Anthony, there's a lot of political indices that tend to be poorly. Yeah, you see, like, the thing with political indices is you're projecting your own political bias and opinions, and then making judgments that you are the absolute correct in that. So I completely agree with you, Elemental Tomago. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to close it off now. But I don't own BRKA or BRKB. My portfolio is public, by the way. So I'm just letting you know, because maybe you're new, and then so just letting you know just in case. Okay. And shorting is fun. I mean, I'm also trying to figure it out. I'm doing still a series. I have one video. It's an hour long on Tesla, but I still have to do a second video on it. So I'm trying to get through all the videos. All right, guys, I'm going to head out. That's already on the list. Don't worry, Daniel. That's on the list. I'm going to head out. Thank you guys so much for coming. Sorry it was a disappointment that the individual didn't show up. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.